Hello world,
Hello! Hi, I'm David Wilson, and this
and
is...
Rob Harrison from Glued, and happy International Happiness Day.
Oh, yes! I'm very happy today. Right.
So we've been posed some questions, as is often the case, and so the idea was to answer those and any others that arise during the so-called broadcast. And so the idea was to...
And we can now hear ourselves. That's fine. We're fine.
So
Right.
the first question we were posed was, what does brand really mean to a business? Which is quite, to pose that to people involved heavily in brand is quite a provocative question, really, isn't it?
Well, I think we don't actually like the word brand, do we?
That's
because
true.
we talk about business brand. Because people will think a brand is the product you buy in the shops, the clothes you wear, a pair of trainers, brands like that. Whereas for us it's slightly different, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose because we're focused on business brands, our belief is that brands in that context are actually more vital and more authentic than they would be in a consumer context. I think there's certainly some business people who don't regard brand with any importance or credence at all. And certainly for some of those people, there's no need for them to. But that's generally when the organisation is so small that they can handle all of their loyalty, all of their personality traits, all of their, I suppose, more emotive reasons why people purchase by their one-on-one contacts with individuals. So it's when a business, I think, grows beyond that, where brand starts to become a really important and valuable tool.
But if you take it back to basics, it's the brand is the things that you believe that you are and how you work. So that's very easy when it's one person, a couple of people, because we all have a shared value and a shared belief, and it's very simple to kind of work out how that works. Then of course when you grow, you've got to share that in some way. We would say that is where your brand can help your business, because you're building that kind of how do we do things around here.
Yeah, and not sharing in terms of brainwashing people you employ.
No.
Importantly, that if you find a way of articulating what's different and valuable about the way you work in your brand, then actually you'll attract people who are attracted by that. So you'll end up with people working for you who you don't want, for a better term, you don't have to brainwash, because they're already on board. And that's ideal, because that makes the way that you work with the outside world far more authentic.
And it makes people proud, it makes them excited about where they're working, because they all have this shared kind of idea of actually why they're getting up in the mornings. So it's not about the salary they're earning necessarily, it's about actually what excites them and what makes them, motivates them to do what they do. And that has to be a good thing for an organisation.
So I don't know whether that answers the question in its entirety. It seems a rather quick answer to what does brand really mean to a business. There are lots of other aspects we could talk about. One of them is that we believe that if you can communicate that valuable difference that you're offering your customers, they're more likely to pay you full price for what you do. So from that point of view, we believe brand supports higher margin, or perhaps deserved margin for what you're delivering. Whereas if you're not constantly finding a way of reminding yourself what you're delivering is special, then how do you possibly expect to get the money you feel is reflected in that value?
And if you're in a very competitive market, then your brand is possibly the only thing that will differentiate you from your competitors. So if you're selling a product that you could buy somewhere else, you're going to be differentiating yourself on price, and those are things that are not likely to be long-term effective. So you have to have something else that your customers and your staff will buy into.
Yes,
we would say it's your brand.
Yeah, and interestingly, the brand in our world is about expressing that valuable difference. But I suppose in the consumer world, you might argue it's just a cosmetic difference. So it's all too easy to assume that's the same in the business world. That isn't the case. And I suppose what brand is for us in the business world is to prevent people pigeonholing you, so that you can differentiate yourself from your competition. So for us, people will very readily describe us as a design agency, a marketing agency, as a brand consultant. But we start our conversations by saying we work on organisational pride. and that immediately changes people's perception of us. And that's, in a sense, our brand essence, if you like. And it changes the discussion that you have from the outset.
I think that's a very good response.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
So should we go on to our second
Yes.
question?
Yes.
Which you said you had a good answer for.
Mhm.
Why can businesses find themselves at risk with their brand, even when the team is coming to work and going about their business every day?
Going about it in the best way that they can, yes. I suppose this is really when organisations get probably beyond 10 people, when perhaps the people that operate the business and have the most influence over it don't have line of sight of how everybody's operating on a daily basis, and therefore can't bring things back into line, where perhaps people are losing sight of the way that you do things, the different way valuable way that you do things. We got an example of this with a client where actually the organisation has become so busy that the people working on the ground are, in order to get through the volume of work they're having to get through, are actually dropping the very value-added bits that makes that business win its work. And that is a critical thing to know. That if you lose that, then you start losing custom hand over fist.
And that, of course, people will be watching us and go, well, that's very easy to say that, but when you're busy, how do you avoid that from happening?
Well, of course, there are conventional things in business where you have to put resource into place so that people aren't that busy. Some of it may be mindset, in that they feel busy and stressed, and perhaps a different approach to work, different processes, different mindset might result in a rather more freer thinking way of doing things and people not feeling so stressed. But once those things are addressed, our point is that a brand should be that visual and textual reminder of how you do things around here when you're under pressure. So when you receive the panicked phone call, or when something breaks and your first reaction is to become a headless chicken and wonder what to do, opening drawers and screaming at people but actually a glance at the brand or a glance at the proposition or a glance at the values will quickly remind you of, hang on, that's the formula for the way we do things around here. So if I approach this problem in that way, then it will in all likelihood be resolved. And it brings a calmness, and also a process to resolving those issues as they arise and to resolving that panic as it arrives, whether it be pressure of work or...
I just think this kind of reflecting on what your brand means every day and looking back at it is a powerful thing in itself. In the past we've kind of had to do that for our own business, and it's been an effective way of kind of keeping yourself sane, and also realising that you are doing something valuable, different for your customers and for your own organisation and your staff.
Yeah, and it's really, really easy that if you do a task every day, day in, day out...
You forget how good it is.
Well, yeah, it becomes ordinary to you, but to an outsider, and this includes your customers and your prospects, to an outsider, what you're doing is probably extraordinary because they can't do it. That's why they've come to you for it. And to lose sight of that, is a dangerous thing, and this is where brand plays a part. Keep sight of the fact that you have every right to be proud of the effective and valuable work you're delivering for clients and customers.
Because, we all know that business out there, it's hard and that it's always very easy to lose sight of those things. So you've got to have some way of kind of looking back at your own business and going, yeah, we're doing some good stuff. Obviously, all businesses kind of struggle from time to time and there's always challenges. But, you must always look back and go, actually, these things we do very well because it is the essence of what your business stands for, we would say. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Let's move on to our third and final question today.
Seems very quick today, I have to say. I don't know whether
we're almost 10 minutes.
So how does getting you... Mind you, we've only got one watcher at the moment, I think.
There was 2%.
Was that right? Oh, so we bored somebody. How does getting your brand right help you grow your business and ultimately sell more?
Yeah.
Well, we've touched on it already, which is that brand can support higher margin. If you can if you can prove in the way you communicate to people, whether that be through marketing or face to face or in networking, whatever it might be, that actually you are delivering valuable added value as part of your service or product, then people are more likely to accept a higher price than they would do if you're not explaining that valuable difference. So that's one clear way. The other clear way is that if you view brand in the way that we do, that it has an impact internally as well as externally, i.e. it's a force for good in terms of glue within the organisation, in terms of motivation, understanding within the organisation, and doing things in a way that allow that organisation to more readily add value for its customers, then you're going to have a more effective delivery, which results in cost savings, which results in retained clients, which results in new clients because of the recognised added value you're delivering.
I mean, you're going to retain your staff for longer. I mean, there's endless things you could think about. You often hear, happy workforce, they're going to work more effectively, but also you're going to retain the right sort of people, attract the right sort of people. In an increasingly kind of environment where people kind of look quite hard at organisations about what they stand for and the values they have, then you're going to attract the right sort of people, the people you want to work with. And the messages you send out are going to be authentic and attract the right sort of customers.
No, that actually is true of customers as well, is that the customers aren't always just buying what benefits them. In many circumstances, they're also buying what they're attracted to. So if you display ways of working that are attracted to them and that appeal to them, like, for instance, the notion that many family businesses like doing work with family businesses. So if you portray family values to an organisation, that becomes part of the reason why they end up working with you, not just because you're delivering a great product at a great value or a great service at a great value.
I think that's a very, very good answer. Marvellous.
I think that's probably exhausted it for this International Day of Happiness.
And I was trying to smile throughout. So we look forward to seeing you again sometime.
Well, and hope maybe next time we get a few more viewers and maybe some live questions, which would challenge us a little more than this time. We nearly tripped up this time, but a few questions could prove that or not. So look forward to seeing you next time.
Take care. Bye now.
Bye-bye.